on Facebook. Oh. Another lovely, lovely Saturday, the last one in April 2024. Good morning and welcome to the Vintage Talk Show with the Fudge. It's going to be an exciting day today. I can feel it. It's in the air. Well, we have a lot to talk about. When don't we have a lot to talk about Nigeria? And we'll take you through our thoughts on point blank. My friends are around, and also appetizers, the entertainment news, takes on them, and global trends, and of course, municipal headline reviews. Um, First, let's start with our ancestors. What do they have for us this morning? I quote this: "Say when brothers fight to death, a stranger inherits their father's estate." Hmm.
Hmm. Hmm.
Well, too much bitterness, anger, frustration, quarrels, infighting will divide you, dissipate you, and make you easy cannon fodder or easy picking for the enemy or the adversary who would like to take advantage of the situation. Mend fences with your brothers, calm down, and sort things out with your sisters. This life is only one, once you can live it. So he says when brothers fight, and sisters too, when
Hmm.
they fight to death, a stranger inherits their father's estate. Everyone loses. Well, here, I beg your pardon, here we don't have death threats, no negativity at all. However, we'll continue to speak truth to power and shine light on dark spots on the Vintage Talk Show. My name is Femi Akintunde-Johnson. My friends call me Fad. And I'm not alone. I do not walk alone, nor do I talk alone. This morning I have my friend and brother. He managed to get here, and we need to thank God for the presence. Uh, Welcome this morning, Michael and Tokumbo Jakule. Mr. T, good morning.
Good morning, Fudge. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. As they say in Nigeria parlance, "Eku ilu ye o," but we're happy we're here. Thank God.
Sometimes I wonder, all the Yoruba greeting, it starts with Eku, Eku, Eku. And
Eku
ordinarily,
Sunday.
if we stop like that, Eku means die for something. Like you have died.
Eku nje o, Eku nri o, Eku
You know,
something. Everything is there.
so when a non-Yoruba speaker takes up the subject and say, "What is Eku? What is Eku?" Because it's
Eku
familiar
mi.
with that. Eku means to die. He say, "Ah!" So now they know. But that's the beauty of the language. It's open to all kinds of
Yeah,
expressions.
yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us, for being
Thank you,
able to make
Fudge.
this month has
Thank you,
been
Fudge.
a challenge. But we thank God
Hmm.
we are completing the process. Uh,
Amen.
also,
Thank you.
also with us this morning, unusually, we have it very early. So surprised. Our analyst, Anko, Alex Ogundadebe, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Fudge. Good morning, Mr. T.
Good
And also
morning, Alex.
Yeah, it's a great pleasure to be on Top Radio 90.9. I'm back. I was away last week
Yeah.
due to circumstances beyond my control, but I'm happy to be
Okay.
back, and I'm sure we're going to have a great time.
You remember when we had the NTA network and NEPA as it were then, when they have their slip off, they'll go, sorry, due to something beyond our control. We are not
Yes.
able. It's always
Power,
beyond their
power
control.
interruptions.
Yeah. Okay, it's great to have you guys. Also with us in the studio is are usually delectable, dark and lovely. Esife Arogundade. Good morning, Esife.
Good morning to everybody. Welcome to our last day here at Ikeja Ikeja Axis. So we hope to see you next week. Join us today.
Mm.
Enjoy with us as we are rounding up things here at Agidi branch Ikeja.
Ah,
Mhm.
all this long intro. In
Well
case
done,
all the
Lucy.
updates, before they come to the premises and they don't find the top ready yet. Where did somebody go? Okay, thank you for that information. I'm sure over time, listeners will get to know the next port of call for Top Radio 90.9 FM. We are moving places. We are moving places. It's great. Thank you, Sife. And let's have you. Since you are now bubbly and ready, let's start with the entertainment news. If you care,
Alright, let's start. Tony Abraham ends feud with Funke Akindele. Nollywood actress and filmmaker Tony Abraham has reached out to her colleague Funke Akindele in a gesture of reconciliation. The two have been rivals in the Nigerian box office industry, leading to negative competition and strained relations. However, Abraham took to Instagram to express admiration for Akindele and to acknowledge her impact in the industry. Abraham wrote, "In the English industry, as Funke and I continue the rivalry sort of, it pitted our fans against each other. We are two competitive rebel women. We love to win, and sometimes in that process, we splash dirt and mud. But with time, age, and more wisdom, I realized we can compete without being negatively competitive." She went further. "Auntie Funke, I celebrate you for showing us what is possible. You are a winner. You sold over 1 billion. You made it possible for other women to dream. Thank you for making great movies and selling them like life depends on it. You taught other women to also other. I pray that God will make all your dreams come true. I admire you and wish you all the best."
well, amen to that.
Amen.
That's Tony
Mm.
Abraham. Well, all those prayers and those gestures will become indeed the end of the field if she responds. If
Mhm.
that's what
Yes.
for
Mhm.
now, you are the only one ending the field. Well, whatever it is, you are the only one.
I'll say Funke actually feud with other people as well. I think there's Mercy Aigbe, then we have Toyo Baby, that's
What
serious.
are they feeding for? What are they
To
quarreling over?
be to be maybe being competitive in industry to be
Anyway,
they have maybe little hatred for each other.
as Tony has confessed, she has now borrowed herself sense. She has
Mm,
gained wisdom, and she
yes.
has realized that there's no point quarreling in an industry
Mm.
where you can reach millions. So why fight? Why fight over that? They should not do like the olden days in the 70s when we had the Obey and Sonny
Mhm.
quarrel,
Mhm.
politics and the barista quarrels among the fans and all that. And the people involved, the principals involved, were never enemies. They were sharing
Mhm.
drinks and sharing other things, together. And fans are breaking their heads over this and that. That's how it is. I hope they never.
At a point, they were even profiting from it. They would do some
Of course
music.
now.
Yeah,
Of course now. Of course
that's
now.
true.
Well,
That's true.
and it's you,
That's
Beba
true.
Corin, Annie, Sonny
Sọ̀ni
Lumba,
sọ̀ni ló ń bá wí. Ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ò
why
ṣẹlẹ̀.
then you buy it and dance.
Ọ̀rọ̀.
Who's winning? Okay, thanks.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Okay, we just started.
Yes, yes.
Let's move on.
Is that Audrey shared more insights on health challenges.
Hmm.
Veteran Hollywood actor Zach Audrey, who was rumored dead a few days ago, has shared more insights on his recent health challenges, which forced him to travel to the UK for medical treatment. The versatile thespian, who opened up recently, said, I slumped in the bathroom and I can only say that it's by the grace of God that I'm alive today because I passed
Hmm.
out. I was out for like 5.5 hours before help came.
Hmm.
Benedict Johnson rushed to the house and I was there on the floor, incoherent. I couldn't even stand because when he raised me, I slumped again and he had to call another colleague, whom we call La Vista. So the two of them lifted me on their shoulders from the second floor to the ground floor and took me to the National Hospital, Abuja, he explained.
Hmm.
You see, only God will help and forgive these bloggers. Oh.
Mm,
They can kill
Hmm.
you before you're dead.
mm,
You slump, and they heard that you slump and you're unconscious. Brah, it's they announce it. Their own is pronto. Is dead. So dies. Veteran, it's as if they are praying for people to die. you know, but we thank God.
Hmm.
Zach Oji is okay. Is getting better.
Thank God.
It was a terrible fall, and this is getting quite common nowadays. Our friend and
Yeah.
senior colleague so died last week, I think. Um, Abdul Okwechime
Yeah.
died last week,
Pushing.
falling in the
Yeah.
bathroom. It was becoming a regular thing. We need to be careful out there. Buy these suction slippers and toilet floor mats.
Hmm.
As you grow older, your sense of balance is compromised.
Hmm.
So you have to be
Yeah.
careful, walk careful. When I enter the bathroom, it's as if I want to do catwalk. Very careful. I put my legs one after the other,
Yeah.
to avoid
Yeah.
any uh,
And,
stories that touch the
and
thing.
yeah, that's what they have. And Fudge, a quick one. Doctors have advised us as you grow older, learn to sit in the bath to have your bath, to take your bath.
Ab-
Sit down in the
Absolutely.
bath. Yeah, standing up is a little bit risky sometimes.
I always tell people, you are not posing for anybody. You are the only one in the bathroom. You better sit on the chair. Don't say, I can be
I'm
there.
comfortably too.
Sit down, well, well, oh. I have your back. Nobody's seeing you. They're not posing for anybody. You're not impressing anybody. Okay. We still have more.
yes,
Okay, go ahead.
Baba Ijesha appeals conviction for rape.
Mm.
Jailed Nollywood actor Olanrewaju James, also known as Baba Ijesha, has requested the Court of Appeal, Lagos Division, to overturn his conviction by Lagos State High Court for sexually assaulting a minor. On 14th of July 2022, Justice Oluwatoyin Taiwo, retired, of the Federal Domestic Violence and Sexual Offences Court, sentenced Baba Ijesha to 5 years in prison for the
Mm,
crime. Baba Ijesha
Mm.
has appealed the decision, stating that it was wrongly set up and that he acted according to a script that he was invited to act on by his colleague Damilola Adekoya. On 23rd of April 2024, Baba Ijesha's lawyer, Kayode Olabiran, argued his case before the appeal court. However, the Director of Public Prosecution, Dr. Babajide Martins, has urged the court to reject the appeal, claiming that it lacks merit and is based on a misconception. He urged the court
mm,
to uphold the lower court's decision.
Well,
mm,
only God knows beyond the judge. And his case, hmm, anyway,
mm.
is
Well,
in subjudice now, as we're
yeah.
still before court, the Court of Appeal. If Bosun were here, he would have told us not to venture into that. We also wish him luck, and
It's
actually,
just the main thing is that the evidence shows it, whether he did it or not. The evidence will show it. So I mean, that's all.
from the last thing we saw, the evidence appeared incriminating and one kind. Well, let's leave it to the Court of
To
Appeal.
the
See
court.
what happens.
Mm,
Mm.
Yes, let the court decide. It's just a waste of talent being kept away from his
mm.
demeanor. Okay, now to this big sad one.
Top Nollywood actor Zulu Adigwe is dead.
Hmm.
It has been
Yeah.
reported that veteran Nollywood actor Zulu Adigwe has passed away. Adigwe reportedly died on the evening of Tuesday, 23rd of April 2024. His death was announced in an Instagram post by movie producer Stanley Nwoko. I regret to announce the passing of the late Mr. Zulu Adigwe, the veteran actor. The cause of his death is yet to be revealed. Rest in peace, lead actor Nwoko wrote. During his career, Adigwe was famous for his role as Mr. B in the sensational sitcom created by the late playwright Ken Saro-Wiwa called Bassey and Company, a staple on national network service of NTA in the 90s. He was also involved in a number of Nigerian movies. Sadly, Nollywood has in 2024 lost seven actors, namely Sisi Quadri, Mr. Ibu, Amechi Munago, and the best, Jumoke Aderomu, Junior Pope, and now Zulu Adigwe.
Oh, wow.
Mm,
Now, wow.
mm, mm.
I saw one yesterday of another actor
Yeah.
who just died.
Is it Frank Vaughn? I read about Frank Vaughn. I don't know whether it's recent. This was a 2024 is been not even beyond Nollywood.
Mm,
What we hear all over the world.
mm,
Uh, it's as if there's a race to
mm,
leave this place.
Yeah.
Well,
Mm.
we, we continue to pray for the families left behind by these creative people,
mm.
that they will continue to have the fortitude
Amen.
and the increasing grace
Amen.
to bear these losses.
Mm.
Ah, seven.
Amen.
And
Amen.
you never know.
Amen. Amen.
And this is just April. Oh.
Mm.
May God help us and protect us out there and everywhere we are.
Amen. Yeah. Mm.
Okay, Christopher.
South African show portrays my parents in bad light.
Hmm.
Two Baba's daughter, Isabella Idibia, the eldest daughter of Nigerian music icon Two-Face, and his wife Annie, has expressed her displeasure about the portrayal of her parents in the 2022 South African reality show Young, Famous and African. In the first and second seasons of the show, Annie was depicted as a nagging wife who continued to endure her abusive marriage, despite her husband, Tubaba, boldly declaring to other stars on the show, in her presence, that men are wired to cheat. In a video message shared via her social media handle, Isabella insisted, I think the way my parents were portrayed in Young, Famous and African is just so wrong. Whenever I try to back my parents up, that is not what happened. Everyone would be like, how would you know? You are still a child. How would you know? You are not in my family. Your knowledge is
Mm.
based on stuff that is on social media.
Hmm.
I know it because I've been in the household with my parents. I can't change everyone's perspective on social media because people on social media would always think what people on social media want to think. But honestly, they will never know the actual true story of anything in my family or anything that has happened before I was even born. The
Hmm.
way my parents were portrayed in Young Famous African wasn't the best image and wasn't completely accurate.
Well, sorry, Isabel. It's nice to know that even at this point, Two Face has a child that can stand up for him.
Yes,
You know, but my people, Yoruba people have a saying that "Wọ́n pè ẹ́ lólè, ò ń gbọ́mọ ẹran jó." They call you a thief. You are dancing with the neighbor's eel or the neighbor's
Mm-hmm.
goat. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, they have already stamped you with all kinds of accusations on the social media and even in the mainstream media. And then you are declaring on live television that the men are wired to cheat. I mean, justifying
Mm.
your tea, it doesn't make sense. So you can't blame people who jump to conclusions and make statements that is now hurting your daughter. Isabella, keep on because you know your parents more than anyone else. So what you believe is what is important. Don't mind what people say or write or retell on television, and then tell daddy to moderate his talks in public too. You know. Okay, let's take a break. I think that's the end, Abby.
yes.
Thank you very much. Let's take a short break, music and commercial, and come back to Alex on global trends.
catch up with the latest Nollywood news, review, or interview. Then catch up with us on Top Radio every Wednesday at 3:30 p.m. for the hottest pulse on Nollywood Weekly. We dare you to miss it.
What? Was that part of our show?
No, it's a promo. I think it's a promo they're running.
Wow.
We dare you to listen.
We dare you to.
And
Wow.
gentlemen, I'm going on there.
Okay. All right.
We play you Ashiwaju. Rob. It's those tricks we used to use in the 90s. We dare you to do this. Nowadays, we dare people. They just ignore you. But it's a nice, bold statement. And I try and listen to it.
Yeah.
Please, Alex, get ready with global trends.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Yes, I see. I see. There you go.
Listening to some of the music of our young stars, you you may have to advise that they should one day they will have children that will listen to this music, and they might find it difficult explaining why they do something or say something that has a level of permanency, something that will be there for life. when you say
Mm.
nasty stuff online or profanities or indecency and all that online because it's raving or it's a hit thing to do at that moment. One day there will be a recompense. You will be asked
Mm.
to defend your inanities, so to speak. Anyway, moving on. We are going on global trends, and Alex is waiting for us. Alex, how far?
Yeah, good morning once again, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going right into global trends this morning. We begin in the UK, and the title of the first clip is The King is Back.
Mm.
So, King Charles will resume public engagements next week after making promising progress in his cancer treatment, Buckingham Palace has said. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Mm.
the king is
Well,
recovering.
congratulations.
We're happy to hear
Congratulations.
that.
I think
Mhm.
a couple of weeks ago we read about his cancer, the fear of his cancerous or something like that, and that was
Yeah, it was
taken.
prostrate
Was
Yeah.
cancer.
prostate cancer.
Oh,
Mm.
okay. Well, thank
That's
God for
fine.
him.
Improvements, yeah.
All right, the next story is also it's in between UK and Romania, and the title is Influential Mess. Controversial influencer and Tate and his brother Tristan are to be tried on rape and sex trafficking charges, a court
Mm.
in Romania has decided.
Mm,
That's
This
mm,
all.
has been an ongoing story. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
yeah, I remember we read something about it some weeks back.
yeah.
So
Go ahead.
the
Go
judge
ahead,
has
please.
The fact is that those countries, they deal decisively with such acts, criminal acts. So there is an immediate flog back if you find yourself in that kind of mess. And I hope we're able to learn from these things as well as a nation, where
Yes.
when such things happen, we are very decisive and take action. It keeps people away from such criminal acts, really,
We get there.
especially
We
when
get
you're
there.
found guilty. Mm.
I'm sure we'll get there. If we take time, we'll get there. Our society is getting more civil, more actionable, so to speak, in on issues such as this. I think we get there. Mm.
Hmm.
Okay, Alex, are you still there?
Yeah. So next we're
Okay.
going to the United States.
Mm.
The United States, and the title of the story is Not for Sale. We're going into Cyberland. ByteDance says it has no plans to sell TikTok, despite the US passing a law threatening to ban the app if it remains under Chinese ownership.
Mm.
This controversy with TikTok, I don't know. It's been on for some time now.
Yeah, TikTok has been taking shine off some of other social networks because
Mhm.
of its adaptability and all that. They'll find a way. They'll find a way.
Hmm.
Chinese,
Okay.
they have strong head.
They are very stubborn, and if they don't fight it down now, it's going to be tough because other countries will follow suit. What America
Yeah.
is doing, yeah, if it sails
Yeah, but
through, other
won't it
nations will do the same.
won't it lead to reprisals, a kind of
It
trade
could.
war?
Mm-hmm.
Well, China is not Nigeria or Ivory Coast, you know. So they weigh the pros and cons before they take any decision. Biden has already signed it. I mean, further down the story, you find out that he has signed some
They
kind
have
of
signed
executive
it.
order, to ban it, and the U.S. citizens are suffering from that now as we speak because it's affecting their business or because they are not able
Mm.
to create the content that they
Mm-hmm.
that normally will do. You know?
Yeah,
Okay.
and the US businessmen, they always want access to the Chinese market because it's a
It's
huge
huge.
market.
It's
It's
huge.
huge. It is
You
huge.
know,
It is huge.
one about three times their population, and they are not exactly poor. It's huge. Okay, okay,
All right. Now, for the next story, we're going back to the UK, and the title is Personalized Melanoma Vaccine Tested. An important
Mhm.
trial of the world's first personalized mRNA vaccine against the deadliest form of skin cancer, that's melanoma, has begun in the UK. The treatment uses the unique genetic signature of the patient's own tumor to fight the cancer cells. It uses the same technology as current COVID vaccines.
Hmm.
that's a great
That's,
one.
that's that's looking like a breakthrough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a breakthrough.
Mm.
When you're
That's
Okay.
using
brilliant.
individuals' cells to fight his own disease.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay,
Okay.
moving on now. We're going into South Korea, and the title of this is Event Planning. The South Korean government has denied being responsible for the disastrous World Scout Jamboree last year, where children fainted in 40 degrees centigrade of heat. That's about 105 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, that is
Wow.
hot. That is hot.
Wow. So they're not claiming they are not the event planner. It's not their fault.
They can't control the weather, can they?
You can't
That's
control
what
the
happens
weather.
when
No.
you remember when you are young, when they catch you with your hand in the pot, taking meat. And I said, no, it was the pot that moved. It was not your hand. It
Oh
was the
my
pot.
God. It was a but.
You have
But
to
that's a
blame
tough
somebody else.
one because I remember the Boy Scout days. Like, here, we'll take them right into the jungles, the wilderness, anything they have to abide by, and But that's a weather shock, should I say? They probably have not
Yeah,
exposed were not exposed to that initially,
that's
so
massive.
it's
Yeah.
what we're viewing. Yeah.
All
Okay.
right, we're going back to the UK for the next story, and it seems we're talking a lot about ailments and diseases
Hmm.
this week. The title of this one says Pupils Face Post COVID Mental Scars. The
Oh.
disruption and isolation of lockdown in the UK had a particularly profound impact on children with special needs, with many not receiving the support they required. Some schools are now struggling to help pupils who find it difficult to cope.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
If you know what we escaped with that COVID, drama and everything,
Hmm.
it's
Yeah,
God
it's
just has mercy
amazing.
on us. Hmm. What we just
You,
passed through that.
the prediction they made in the US and the UK is that if this gets to Africa, people will drop like flies. And ironically,
I remember. They were the ones dropping.
He underrated us. He underrated us. Sometimes, sometimes pain can be useful. After suffering for decades, what is
The
what
black
is COVID? It burns us
the black
off.
skin is rugged.
We
Oh,
have been made rugged by problems, issues, calamities, wahala, and all that. That when COVID came, we did not even believe it, even until it finished. Some people didn't believe that there was anything called COVID. Oh God! And they were the one that affected most. Hey, yeah. So
yeah.
sorry. Mm.
All right, for the next story, we're going back to Cyberland, and it says US creators consider life after TikTok. Many creators making a living promoting their work on TikTok are worried for their future after US President Joe Biden signed legislation that could ban the Chinese-owned platform from the United States.
Mm, that's what we were saying the other time. A lot of people will suffer, and there'll be more pressure on Biden, especially in this election year. Well, we wish them luck. And a final bit, the last bit.
Yes, so finally, the story says poisonous texts. Reading isn't usually bad for you, except in this very particular case. 4 books have been removed from France's National Library because their covers may be poisonous. The books, all of which are green, were printed in Britain in the 19th century when arsenic was commonly used to add color in printing.
Wow.
Oh,
So one can
oh.
read now and die from opening a book cover. Now, wow. It is, so
That's
arsenic
interesting.
is now a dangerous thing. You see how life is. At one point in time, that gives color. They want to make it colorful.
Mm.
So 50 years down the line, it's at your peril. If you if you open a book that has arsenic as part of its production, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Thank you so much, Alex. We have come to the end of Global Trends. We'll take a short break and come back. Our special guest, special talking head, is in the house. We'll take you to the super reviews. And this is what, let me see what Omale means when she says God. Let's listen carefully.
Bosun, welcome. Oh.
So Alex, morning, sir.
Alex, you
Welcome,
spoke on
Boston.
there.
Huh? Are you kidding?
I'm fine. Morning, sir.
So how you doing?
I'm all right. Just trying to be fine.
Thank God you are home today. All the 3 Saturdays in April, Bosu has been partying all over the Southwest.
No, it was
Yeah,
exams.
I
It was
Okay,
noticed.
exams. It was really like they were really organized with that exam.
have we finished now?
And there's one more paper, but they just postponed it indefinitely.
Okay.
Okay.
So I can see that you are
So
not
last
sweating.
week Saturday, they fixed one for 10 a.m. So it was, and they do late fixing. They don't tell you on time.
So how do you cope with all this? How do you cope with
Why,
your
why, why?
practice and
Huh?
the
In
demands of
fact,
schooling?
I told you, I saw the coordinator last week. I went to meet them and I said, see, I'm trying to get ticket for summer that when it's second semester exam, they didn't have a clue. I'm like, how do we run the program without definite?
Wow.
Or could it be deliberate? Because me, I don't understand that one.
It's not deliberate, it's just lack of organization.
No.
We
And it's
used to
not a
have
new program,
school
public admin.
calendars in those days. There used to be a calendar.
There
Yes,
would be.
every school should have one.
Oh.
So in fact, when I told them, they said, just buy your ticket. I say, hey, do you know how much it will cost to change?
To change it. That's true.
In fact, one was looking at me funny, like, you are forming early, Tavi. It's like, whoa. I have to explain to her that it's a family thing, it's every year. So,
Yeah.
Nigeria and organization, zero. In fact, some people were like, they took leave from office
Mhm.
to write the exam and they scattered the whole thing in their eyes. I said, well, thank God for those of us who own our thing.
Hmm.
Why must you should think the university will be more organized than society itself. I mean,
Well,
intellectuals run that
I
place.
think it's a departmental thing because I did my LLM there in 2012 and there was no problem. Everything was smooth and straight. But this
Okay,
one
guys,
is
we are going back on air.
It's not very good. It's not somebody is the driver.
Yes, we are back, and this is the Vintage Talk Show. I beg your pardon. And we are now on newspaper review, headlines review, and we have quite a number of covers to deal with here, courtesy Nigerian newspaper WW Nigerian newspapers online. And I'm looking for one that is to start off with one that is more or less Saturday, as we say. All of them are consistent with the problems we have now. All over the country, it on their covers. Let me see. Let's start with the sun. The sun is always screaming. He has a two-word headline: "Workers' Fury," and it was so big on top of Tinubu's picture. You will know that it's like they are putting load on his head pictorially. Labour describes Tinubu's 1 year as full of policy somersaults, distress,
Mm,
and the least
mm,
expectations of federal government demands more pay from fuel subsidy removal savings. Yeah, I read a piece somewhere during the week about the proposals for salary, new salary structure.
mm,
TUC says 400 and something thousand, and
mm,
they
mm,
have
mm.
they have they've reconciled their differences. They have now agreed on a particular, and it's 600 and something thousand per month for every worker. Oh God, I couldn't laugh. I was just, I mean, they have entitled to their demands. If you look at it, really, even that 600, they just will manage it in this time and age. But I can imagine which government will sit down at the table to discuss movement from 30,000 minimum wage to 600,000. Bosu,
this
I
is
think
this is the most
I beg your pardon.
thi-
I introduced Bosun this morning because we've been talking at the back end. Good
good
morning,
morning.
Bosu Oshifora, our legal expert and social development. He's always preventing me from saying that social development advocate. I will
Good morning,
sorry.
Uncle Fad, Uncle Tosh. Good morning, Mr. Alex. Good morning, everyone.
Morning,
Nice to be
morning,
here.
boss. Welcome.
I think this is the most unrealistic labor regime we've ever had in the history of this country. I mean, if you look at past labor leaders from them Bafiawu to Oshiomole to even back to them Paimodu, they were not this involved in rubbish. We've seen this present regime get partisan into politics, literally miss the road or regarding what they are there to do. And then you see Labour initially at some point I read in the papers where they said they want 1.5 million per for a worker minimum wage, then they came to 1 million, now it's 600 and something. I mean, this is unrealistic. You have not even factored in inflation. And for me, I feel what Labour should fight for are things that will cushion the effect of the economy on the people, not necessarily salary increase. Because for every time you increase salary, there is there is a corresponding effect from market people.
Market,
In fact, the
market forces.
economy reacts negatively.
Mhm.
So, and inflation jumps up because people just feel okay, now they have money. then people start increasing things, wares go up, and all kinds of things. But if you look at it, the population of the civil servants compared to those who are not in the civil service, it's way,
Mm-hmm.
way, 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 way apart. That's one. Then, secondly, another factor that I think another major problem with the labor is they're not coherent. One minute they are like this, the next minute they are like that. So even the government are not taking them seriously. Now then, you are pushed for federal minimum wage at 600 when states cannot pay their civil servants. I mean, they go in tandem. Once something happens at the federal level, then the states too will have to kowtow or follow what has happened at the federal level. So, how many states have been able to pay the 35,000 minimum wage? Maybe 4 or 5 states have the financial capacity to do that. So for a labor regime to come and start saying this, I think they're not serious, and the implication is that they will not be taken seriously. So there are other ways by which you can manage the affairs of people. There are ways you can look at the economy and how to affect the life of people that everybody will enjoy, other than salary increase. But this one is not going to fly.
Well, I think the negotiation trick that Labour is proposing is, let's start from 600. When we start deadlocking the meeting, it will move to 400. Then they will beg us, beg us, beg us. It will move to 300. Then we will not. Well, then everybody will not start begging all over the world. Nigerians will not beg us. Okay, finally 100, nothing more. You know,
Five from 600 naira, 600,000 to 100.
it's not labor. It's not our labor.
The, the
Negotiate that.
labor
They'll come to 50,000.
No, no, no,
the
no, no.
labor we have now, I mean,
That would be
it's
hard.
a
That would be
shadow of itself. It's a
yeah.
shadow
It
of
is.
itself. Where are
It
the
is.
Owela Kemfas? I mean, the intellectuals,
Way,
people who
way.
were in there, the Lanre Arogundades, have they left labor? I mean,
Yeah.
what's going on? Are people really
And
thinking?
what is
We
even
need
more
to
painful?
ask questions.
What is even more painful? The man at the helm of labor used to be a journalist. So I'm sure it's more painful for you, Alex, considering that it's come from your constituency.
Oh, yeah.
The
Okay,
man is
let's
carrying
move
the pay.
but if they don't beat him in one place, they will fight in this place. Well,
Mhm.
at least he's doing something. He's doing something. He's fighting. Workers will be happy to hear that that they want to start collecting 600 or 400. Wow, wow. But some of the statements they made about the presidency, the administration in 1 year, uh, I don't think it's offensive or it's out of place. Nigerians are
Mm.
really in different levels of distress, and they need to work out how to get this done. Let's move on to this day newspaper. That's an interesting sub lead on the cover. It says Abuja-based American school writes EFCC to refund Yahaya Bello's children's $760,000 fees. Let me try and get the riders on it. Payment not made with monies from Kogi State government coffers. Aid insists. Natasha asks anti-graft agency to ensure former governor's prosecution. That was a long time opponent of
That's Natasha Apoti,
that,
right?
that. Yes, that's
Mhm.
another.
Mhm. Yeah. Good.
He has been battling with that man in that place for so long. Then
Yeah.
Kogi court orders service of suit seeking imprisonment of EFCC boss. And that's for what do you call it? Lawyers call it when you refuse to obey orders and then they give you Form 48 and all that.
Contempt of court.
Contempt of court, yes, contempt of court. I received many of those summons before in my fighting days.
Oh, you must have a bag full of them, Fudge. I
Yeah,
recall.
yeah. You will know. You will remember. Okay.
I
Um,
remember.
I think we will talk more about this. It's one of the things we want to discuss on point blank. So maybe we'll leave the matter. Of course, from the ex-governor's side, they've denied this allegation that he didn't withdraw money from Kogi's money to go and pay school fees in advance. But so all you people paying school fees now, I pity you. You that you don't
Honestly,
have
I don't know how you guys do it.
you don't have state covers to plunge in and pay
Ah,
ahead.
please don't go there. You just reminded
Don't
me
try.
of
Don't try that one.
one of my boys
Oh,
is going to law
For
school
me, for me that
in
still has a
a
Yeah.
couple of
2-year-old.
months.
For me
wow,
that has a
oh, yeah,
2-year-old is a long way to freedom.
wow, wow, wow. Hey, yeah, Alex, Boston. Sorry, sorry. God that did it for us. For
I'm
all them.
start
Can
looking
I?
at what
Can
to
I?
do in Kogi now.
Ah,
Oh
please
yeah.
do.
I'm
That's
Can
start
I?
looking
Can I?
for what
Can I pray?
for
I'll pray
electing
for you
position
guys
in
in
Kogi.
Yoruba. I'll pray for you guys in Yoruba. Ẹ jèrè àwọn ọmọ o. Gbogbo wa la máa
I
jèrè
Ami,
wọn o. Yeah.
Ami,
So when you think of
because
that, you just say, "You come on, let me go on." That's the truth.
But this one that we are complaining on air, there's a school that just opened that's charging 42 million. 42
Oh,
million a
that's
year.
one. Yeah.
and now,
Hmm.
what's your own business there? If you it's not the it's not
you
the
know
42 million. You work up. Is it my fault? If I
I
tell them like, is it not their
Like,
I tell
somebody
I,
said.
I tell them at
yeah?
Somebody
home that
said Nigeria.
the
Yeah.
money I spent from primary one till I did my LLM is not up to my son's one-term school fees.
Can imagine. That's true.
I
Calculate.
went to last school. We were paying 150 naira back then. Law school was 70,000 naira. So, but this one, even master then was about 90 or 100,000 naira, 2012. But this one, God is my shepherd.
You know,
They'll be doing
you
jumping,
know,
jumping, I am jumping, and you're paying
Nursery,
over a million
nursery,
naira.
if I is prep, not nursery.
Prep.
you know,
General CV.
They are still preparing him for nursery.
hello guys. Let me tell you about my let me tell you about my experience. My first child, I took her to kindergarten. She was about no, it's even what do you call them? What do you call before the one before kindergarten?
Prep,
Crèche.
prep.
Yeah.
Prep.
So
Crutch.
crèche.
Crutch. Crutch.
She was around a year and a half or slightly under that. And it was this place at GRA, a very lovely place. When I heard the bill, I said, Esma, what is it? What is she going to learn?
What's she learning?
Brain
All you get
surgery.
crayon and paper. After the first, I said, is this all that you learn every day? They said, yeah, it's very good for the performance, no, for formative years and others. Eh, it's okay. The next time I move it to Ikeja, please come nearer home. It's near to my office. The next one, I move it to
Okay.
Ogba. I move according to my pockets. You can't come and kill me. So if I see, if I'm a paying order now, and you have a
Ah,
school 42 million, I can't sell myself or sell.
Wait, they
Whoever
didn't
sell
come out, so they have their audience.
they have now. So there are people who can afford it. So I don't blame the school. Oh. I don't also blame the parents. If you
But
are
for
earning,
prime, 42 million. Kilo day.
do your business.
And when I heard of the 42, when I heard of 42 million, the first thing that occurred to me was, are they training them to be world leaders? Is there a curriculum that passes them to be president in
Are
future?
they going from there to UN?
To you,
But
I don't know.
some people have mind though. Some people have mind though. So even if I have the 42 million to give, the fact that they will save the school for 2 million, it will be scaring me already. Because everybody now be looking at me. Do you know his child goes to 42 million? So if I can pay school
42
for 2 million,
million.
The way
yeah,
people bombard you with begging.
it's not begging. It's not called begging. It's called humanitarian gesture. It's not begging. If you have, you give. If you don't have, say you don't have. You know? Okay, let's move on. I know all these school paying fathers, they are in pain. So let's leave this for the 2 million. You
Serious
know,
pain.
it's not a good story now. Um, Leadership Weekend says bandits regrouping despite military assault. Launch attack on Matawale's hometown. Defiant Zumi Emma returns to palace after escaping abduction twice. Army commander shot dead in Kankara. So we are still, this problem is still there.
That's Zamfara State, right?
Yes, Matawale's area. That's Zamfara.
Yeah.
And despite the National Security Advisor's proclamation that they are working silently and overwhelming this opposition, this banditry is still spiraling. Wow.
In Zamfara, you have gold. And
Mhm.
Gold. Mm.
one theory says where you have minerals as rich as that, if there's no proper security, there will be insurgency.
Hmm.
No, Mr. Alex,
Hmm.
sorry, let me quickly comment. You see, the people there, the leadership in that axis, they created monsters by themselves, and that's what they are dealing with now. And the monster is actually dealing with them. They're the ones who empowered these people who then became insurgents. They had groups for various nefarious things. Now, those ones have gone, they are coming to their own, and they have now become a problem for them. That's basically what's happening in that axis. It's a very volatile terrain, and I think they need more than rhetorics to deal with what is happening in that Zamfara and the entire northwest region.
Yeah. And
It's horrible what's going on there. Those
it
they have
is.
warlords, they have all kinds of people who do all kinds of horrible things. So sometimes, basically, everybody is mining the gold on their own. Forget the fact that federal government is in charge. They have warlords in charge in those areas, and then some of their foot soldiers then delve into some other things, other activities. That's basically what's going on there. So something definite has to be done, not just what the NSA is saying. Every day you come up, you say you are still thinking of what to do. They have to come up with an action fast because these things spiral and they go beyond the region and then it becomes a regional problem.
They
So
do.
that's it.
They do.
And when
They
you look at
do.
developmental indexes, Zamfara is one of the worst states, if not the worst, we have in Nigeria.
No
If you
west.
look at education, you look at WAEC registration, JAM registration, if you look at healthcare delivery, and
Zero.
it's on the lowest ebb in Zamfara state. There's a lot of work to be done.
Well, let's take a break from Zamfara. I'll move back to Lagos. Is this same for the 2 million naira problem? I didn't even know it's a primary school. Is it, why we can't stop primary schools for the 2 million naira tuition fee? Lagos government. But so why would anybody want to? Why would anybody want to stop school
They
from
don't know.
charging?
They don't know what they're talking about. It doesn't. It doesn't even lie in their hands to stop them. It's a capitalist venture, and they haven't coerced anybody to come in. Funny enough, there are schools even in the UK where old schools that out of people pay handsomely to have their kids there. Heavy
Yeah.
funds, thousands and thousands of pounds. So if nobody has said bring your tithe here by force. If you can afford it, come. If you cannot afford it, go to um Abele thing for your children. Go and put them there. At the end of the day, all the children will meet at the top if they ever meet.
It's a
So,
British school, isn't it? It's a British
It is
curriculum.
British. It is British. It is
but it's a
British.
very beautiful environment.
Mm.
That's what we are paying for now.
Beautiful or conducive? Beautiful, you
Beautiful,
said.
beyond conducive, beautiful.
Okay. I hear that it's even channeled after one in the UK. One of the structure
Very
in the UK.
now setting.
My question is, why have they chosen to come to Nigeria?
Because the market for such things. There are
The
so
man
many
who
That
can
is
schools
afford
like
it
that.
now.
because we have money. Because we have the money. People who have the money are here, and they can pay ahead of time. They can even structure 5-year payment for their children.
So no state government has the capacity or capability to stop them from what? It's a venture
Yeah. Did
and it's
anyone see
legitimate.
the clip on Lead British School? The one where a student was being bullied.
Yeah,
No,
I saw that. Because that's one show.
That's another school
Yeah.
of the same caliber, and you wonder
lead
that such
lead
things are going on there.
British school, I mean college or something. Okay, let's move on. I forgot that all these school fee paying people. They're always in pain. Uh, the lead for Saturday Tribune. The other piece I read now was from the Tribune. The Saturday Tribune also have the main lead actually is fuel queues perceived. Marketers hike petrol price. PMS sells for over 700 naira per liter in Abuja, Ilorin, Ibadan. Lagos is around 635, around 635, 630.
610.
You
It's
know,
610.
well, that's your area. You know, you are a special area. Maybe you are band A area for fuel.
Fine.
All right, all
I don't pray for that, sir.
except you, except you go to NNPC, all these other things, even mobile, 605. The others have been moving to 620, 630. But
And the
you know how
queues
this
are
thing,
back. The
you
queues
know
are
how
back
this
in
thing.
Lagos.
I went to a place. I wish we could have that patience and that capacity. I went to a place. Normally, you buy a chunk of plantain, maybe 2,000. Uh, they said we're still praying for them to calm down. And we went there the other day, and the woman said 2,500. I just zoomed, boom, 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 boom. I didn't even answer her. The 2,000 when I found them. How much is it? 2,000. I said we have to look for a way of fighting these people, all these price people, this hiking and all that. You know, suddenly you just say dollar is affecting what's it called? Plantain. Dollar is affecting dollars cassava. You know, and then there's a period what made it that dollar was falling down as naira was rising. No, they have not received the message. Nothing has changed.
They're waiting for the
I think
message.
our people too, sometimes we're not fair to ourselves.
At
People
all.
have old stocks and immediately prices jump up, they go for it. Meanwhile, when the prices come down, they don't come back to it. It will take them aeons to
Never
do
do.
that.
They
But
never
overnight,
do.
if
They
it still
never
goes
do. You
up,
remember we said it
we
here.
have our own issues.
We said it here that the major problem Nigeria is facing is the Nigerian people, the Nigerian
Yeah.
market itself. You know, these things can't come down. The man will look at you, high face, look, Oga, if you don't buy, just go. Please go to the next shop. That next shop is even worse anyway, come to think of it. So, and they have a way of connecting. Ibadan people will connect to Lagos people. How much is this thing now? Kaduna people will connect to Zamfara people. How much is this thing costing now? So it's a tough one. I think becomes a questionable thing now, coming from our attitude, character, and passion. Everybody knows what money is. So the pen I bought yesterday, I bought it in dollars. I want to resell it. I have to resell it in what? I don't get the picture. We need some economists are even very confused. Have you tried speaking to some people? They are really confused about what to do. They don't even know what to explain anymore. I was on a show recently, and the man looked and said, "Look, for the first time in my life, I've never been this confused. I'm an economist, but I don't even understand how to explain the graph in Nigeria anymore." And that's the truth. We're
Think
losing
consumer
something.
protection too, they need to activate all those councils and step in for the people.
Well,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
they need to address the major issues in the country, like electricity, get
So
electricity working, you've raised the tariff and it's not even constant.
Ah,
You know, the
Alex,
issue
that's a
of
sub point she just raised in my life now. Ask Fudge.
Sorry, sir.
Don't
There's
worry.
something, Uncle Fudge, there's something we need to
Yeah.
look at. There's a drop in the communication industry. I don't know.
They have reached out to. They have reached out to
Hello.
Bosu.
that's when he said there's a
I was going to drop something very important.
Mention
It's,
them. They
it's,
got
it's from his hand. It's on his end.
yes. Bosu, they got you
Aha, but
there, so you have to respect.
I said the communication industry, they are so dropped.
Yeah.
Calling all these things now, it's almost difficult to do now. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. We are blaming banks or bank operations, but it's the network. You can if you want to transfer money, you have to send a note to the person you want to transfer money to have patience. That we are still working on it too, because you could spend the whole 24 hours and you can't pay 1,000 or 3,000 naira. They want to
There's
send.
a sharp drop with all these networks, and nobody is saying anything.
and
You are saying
meanwhile,
it now. That's
I
what I'm
hear
saying now.
the
Let them hear.
GSM companies are agitating to increase their own tariff too.
They are. They are.
They
Yeah. They are.
want to
All the
sell us.
network services.
They want to sell us.
The friendly one with the D and ending with a D also plans to increase. It does, that has even increased its bouquet at the moment, and everybody is shouting. Um, it's a time for us to look inwards. No foreign
Okay,
company can come here and dictate to us. Yeah.
gentlemen, we'll take a short break and come back and transit into point blank. There's a headline in Saturday Telegraph, or there are two actually, that we should use as a launch board for the point blank when we get there. For now, let's take a break. And here's it. There's this issue about Inspector General's reservation about the police, state police, and then there is this article by a professor made an interesting submission that I want us to discuss briefly.
Both papers on the state police, right?
Yes, same paper. Okay, we are back, and we are still discussing issues arising from the Nigerian newspapers. We're on point blank now, and we are still here. Tokumbo Ojekunle is here, Alex Ogundadebe is here, and Bosun Oshifowora is here. I hope you heard me through that, all that noise in our background music. We want to talk about this matter. There's a headline in Saturday Telegraph, and a professor, I think there are two professors, Kolawole and Ego Harry. They perceive that age limit in varsity admission is archaic. Age limit in varsity admission is archaic. I think for now it's about 16, or is it 17? I think it's thereabout. And the policy will be one size fits all, says ex Unilag VC. And that's Kolawole. It's a welcome development. NAPTAM president and others say. Now, is there any problem? Is there any problem to having age limit before you enter university?
You know,
Because I see
they're
some
looking at
kids.
developmental issues. A
Yeah,
child needs to reach a certain stage of maturity before he gets or she gets into such an environment. That is normally the argument for the age. I remember when my son qualified to go into University of Ibadan, he was not 16 yet. So they had to
Mm.
defer his admission. You know, they asked him to wait a year or so before he
That
could
means
resume.
it started very early or too early. It started like
Yeah,
4 or 5 years.
the young man was a bit ahead. He was actually ahead,
Mm.
You know what
and
I went
that's
to school
when,
by? Are you not the one that sent you? He said young man was a bit ahead. I am the one that took him there.
no, he
Oh, fuck.
why I say is he was ahead. He had this issue in school. He was doing so well in classes that they actually
Okay,
skipped a
double
class.
promotion.
They moved him
Okay.
ahead.
Double promotion. Double
Yeah.
promotion.
Okay. Oh,
So that's
okay.
why I said,
It's your humble way of saying your son is super
Son is
intelligent.
smart. Smart kid. Yeah. Smart kid. Yeah. But really,
Okay,
really,
I understand that. That's nice. Okay, so
yeah.
you have to wait. Yeah, I think so because sometimes you see some of these kids in school, even at that 17, 18 they are in, they still behave
Mm.
like most of them never left the protective custody of their
yeah,
parents. When
Mm.
they are thrown
Mm.
into the university like that, I went to school in Jos, and you will see some people that we mentored. We were practically teaching them things. They didn't know
Mhm.
anything. People like us that
yeah.
were out on the streets, we knew how to survive. This one didn't know.
In,
Yeah,
in
you know.
those
Yeah.
days, there was an
True.
analyst who looked at the University of Ife and looked at the University of Ibadan. And he said the University of Ife was a motherless baby's home, whereas the University of Ibadan was an adult's home because that time you are only admitted people who had A levels, whereas
Yeah.
Ife was
Yeah,
admitting children straight from
Very
secondary
true.
school.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Very correct. Very correct.
So if we remove age limit now, that means people can enter at 12, 13, 14, and they probably be in the same. If I dare to go back to school now, I want to do some courses. Now, I'll, or let's say Mr. T by some brainwave decides to go and take. Now,
Go and
you
do
know,
law
But
you
and
know,
Fudge,
yes.
Let me explain something. You guys are missing something. You're missing something out. You remember way back, well, if you don't remember, I'll remind you. Way back in the Awolowo era, you wouldn't start school, no matter how old you were, if your
Yeah.
hand does not touch the other ear.
yes,
There's no way. So you had
yes,
people who were even older, but their hands didn't get there. They can't just go back
so
home.
you have to go back home.
They
That's
go back
a
home.
serious background check.
They go
Serious
back
background.
they go back home. It's true. It's true. But I
Sha, if I
understand
may
it.
come in, I think this complaints came from employers really. That was why the university had to look into the age thing because they were having employees in their early 20s who didn't have any sense of protocol, who didn't understand anything, and they felt that some level of maturity is needed, that it's not all about being brainy, that some of those kids need some form of tutelage to know how to operate in the outside world. So I think that was one of the things that necessitated them shifting the age to 16, because some kids were getting in as early as 14, and by 18 they're out. Then you put them in an office. Some of them still need someone to prepare breakfast for them. Meanwhile, you put him behind a desk where he has to attend to human lives and everything. So they felt
That's right.
they need to adjust from that end. So when they come in, age counts. Age is not just a number now. That that age thing was necessary. That was one of the reasons why the school had to adjust. But there are exceptional situations where some kids are very brilliant, but those are exceptions. And exception is never the rule. The exception just proves the rule. So I think I don't have a problem with 16-year-olds getting into school as long as it's just parents who need to do a little bit of brushing up and preparing them for life ahead. Because we have 25-year-olds and 30-year-olds who get into the school and get mixed in the fray and just forget why they are there and start misbehaving. So what do you say? Will you say he should go back and become 35 before he comes in? So the argument is neither here nor there, but whoever, what I would advocate is parents should start preparing kids for the future and not just for the home where they operate. Because life out there, it's a jungle and it's a different ball game. But a lot of parents don't really do that. So you have parents who still pay for exams, pay for this. There's something they do in schools now. They don't grade them. They said that it will affect them psychologically. But when you get outside, they will grade you.
They'll grade you. Yeah.
So
Grade you.
it's your performance.
It
So
may
out
affect
there, so these are things we should prepare the kids for.
I
Well,
like
I
the point
think
Bosu raised now about making grades. I think it's nice. Even if it affects psychologically. I remember when I was in school, I was like a carefree person and all that. And I didn't have common sense, no talk of normal sense, you know. Uh, and my position was always around 13, 13, 12, 11, 10. At the best of time, maybe 9 in a class of maybe 35 or 36 and all that. But one day they said that next term there will be selection of a pre-selection of prefects. And I zeroed my mind that I would like to be a labor prefect. Every time they'll be making me cut grass, I want to deal with people to cut grass very well. So, and to be a prefect, you have to score high. You have to be in the top three in the situation. So the next time I worked hard and I came second. You know, only
Wow.
the psychological aspect I was coming to is when we now got to the selection process. Then I said, no, that first to 10 has to be a continuous thing. You must have gotten it like 10
Yeah. Consistent.
so, so next time I went back to my 10, 11, 12, something again
Yeah.
because there's no more. No more.
Focus.
So I know that psychologically it works, yes, but we need to grade them. We need to grade. It's nice to grade people. I
Grade.
do
You need to
training.
grade.
I do trainings and I grade. Even when they pay for the training, I still have to grade them so that you know that
Yes.
psychologically that this is a battle they must win and excel in. Thank you, gentlemen. Let's take a short break. We come back. We've had an overdose of talk. Let's relax a bit. We'll be from the Marvin crew. It's a long pile of names of people producing one song called Overdose. There is um, Marvin's Crayon, Arasta, Ladipo, Magic, and Boys Pass. Boys Spice. All they did is called Overdose. Oh my. Yeah, there is piece I want us to talk about the state policing. Jonathan came out to say this thing is very important. It was in this 2014 national conference report. We should bring it up now. The man was there for almost a year and a half after the report. He didn't do anything. Abubakar too was in support. But the IG is carrying gun and carrying arms. Is up in arms against it. So I want us to briefly talk about that before we leave. Overload. Overload. Hmm. Okay, we're getting back. Well, we're on the final leg of the point blank section, and we would like to quickly, we can spend like 8 minutes or 10 minutes discussing this issue. The state police. It's taken up new. I mean, I've been hearing about state police for over 20 years. Of course, the inadequacy of the Nigerian police as it is, it's quite clear to all. And there's been calls, I beg your pardon, raised here and there about the necessity and the importance of having state police, devoid of the usual political influences and all that. That each, I mean, policing is a local thing, and the locals will always be careful and be emotional about protecting their environment, and also intelligence gathering will be easier and proactive, so to speak. There's a lot of arguments. Suddenly, big names, important voices are being raised in the last 1 week or two. If past presidents and heads of states, even those who had the opportunity to establish it based on the conference report they got in 2014, yeah, have now seen the need to have it infected. The leaders of thoughts in different areas of human endeavors who are hotly supporting the establishment of state police. And of course, the federal government, represented by the Inspector General of Police, is up in arms. And don't let me say federal government. The IG appears to be on his own. He's up in arms. He wants the command structure to remain according to Section
Mm.
214, subsection 2A, and
Yeah.
215, subsection 2 of the 99 Constitution as amended. He is to lead the police as the Inspector General, and it's only the Nigerian police force that should be in abeyance. I mean, in operation. So the man is saying, no, we no go agree, we no go agree. And this is a year of no grief for anybody. But is it right time to establish the state police? I mean, nothing is perfect in life. Even the one we practice now, we have so many complaints, so much animosity against it, and all that, as evident in what happened in 2020 with the NSAS protests that went haywire. Gentlemen, what are your thoughts on this? Are we ripe for state police? Should we be concerned about the agitation of the Inspector General of Police?
Well, if I may quickly step in, sir. Um, Number one, you said something earlier that policing is local. There's a UN position, United Nations position on how policing should be done. And there's a certain number of persons to one police. Or there's a police person to a certain number of persons so that people can be adequately protected and all that. But what we have seen here, one, we don't, I think the police has about 400,000 persons in its employ, which
Hmm.
400,000 policemen to about 200 million people. It's You don't have to
No.
know much to know that that is not adequate. All right,
Yeah.
and there's need for improvement in that regard. That's one. Then
Hmm.
there's another thing which personally, and of course I like to share this. There's something that needs to be done. Policing should be put at the state level and not at the level where it is. I had I had a matter once at one of the police units in Ikoyi, special frauds unit. It was a local transaction. some people. It was involving a lot of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And we caught the people, took them to the place, and then they asked us to bring a petition. Guess what happened? The head of SFU, as at then, this is about 6, 7 years ago, he said that there was a directive from a female DIG back then that all petitions must come to Abuja for approval. I had to fly. We had caught the thieves. We had put them in SFU. Those ones said they were handicapped, that because of the directive. And I had to fly to Abuja. 3 days I was there waiting for approval for the petition. Now, for me, I felt that didn't make any sense. It's a local transaction. The parties were on ground. We don't need approval from a central unit to get that done. And that happens a lot of times. So all these things, people don't like powers to leave their coffers. That's why you see opposition to this thing. I was talking about the master's program I'm doing in Unilag. There's a lecturer who told us that he went for an exchange program in some university in Georgia, Atlanta. He said the school had their own police, arm-bearing police, but their jurisdiction was within the school. They can't go outside gates, but they were fully kitted, everything. That they had their cars, they had their gadgets. It's strictly for the school, and the school is well policed. So all this was throwing ethnic cards up. If the northern states have police, they will fight the southern. What it's dumb. It doesn't make any sense. They have departed from the main thing. How safe is the life of the average Nigerian based on the position of the United Nations and all meaningful organizations on policing? If they look at it from that prism, they will understand the fact that we need state police. And then another part, let me just round off with this, is that you see all these governors who carry security vote away. That's where most of them see all this money. If you have state police, you will be forced to buy guns now, you will buy gadgets, you will buy things. So all these people who don't know what to do with security vote and they run away with it, now is the time that they will use it. Because you have to recruit your police. You won't run to federal government because you have the funds. So now we will now know whether our governor is using our funds well or is using it for personal aggrandizement. That's my position.
Yeah, thank you, Bosu. Mr. T. Alex, some of you, some arguments basically is the political misuse of after they have done what Bosun was talking about now using their security funds properly, so called, for what it is meant for. They have a tendency to personalize and cannibalize the state force for their aggrandizement, so to speak, for their own political agenda, for their own this and that. Those are one of the basic fears. But then again, you could make constitutional provisions that can safeguard those sons. Alex, what's your thought on this?
Yeah, I want to agree totally with what Bosu said. I just checked while he was speaking. The UN figures are 1 policeman to 450 citizens. 1 policeman to 450 citizens. And when you look at the Nigerian nation, you do an analysis, we don't have that. Even the IG that is working or talking against it has said that there should be more recruitment. Now, there is no doubt that we need more police. Currently, they say they're recruiting about 10,000 a year. I don't know how consistent they've been with that. But you see, the issue is, do the police get to the grassroots? I take my own community for an example. The nearest police post to my community is about 30 minutes away. You have to drive out and go to the... And you see, modern policing, when you talk about community police, you're supposed to have police on patrol in the area, so that if there are issues breaking out, they are there immediately. Now, beyond that, the police also thrive on communications. They should have a dispatch which instructs police on what to do, so that if a robbery is taken, you can imagine. I'm sure you remember, was it early in the year or late last year, we had a robbery of 2 or 3 banks in Benue State, and for 3 or 4 hours that these robbers were taking money out of these banking institutions, there were no police around. There were no security people whatsoever. I heard that it was about 2 hours after the robbers had made away with the cash that the police now came in with their sirens blaring. What do they want to do? So there is no doubt that we need state police. The IG, I read a clip where he said it will scatter the structure of command. You see, we cannot have a unitary police structure in a federal state. It doesn't make sense. You can't have a situation where there's a major emergency in the state and the police commissioner is waiting for directive from the IG in Abuja before he moves. Many of us remember the argument that took place between Sanwo-Olu and the Lagos State Police Commissioner. It was an issue of security, and you expect the police commissioner to do the right thing. But he was arguing with the governor because he knows that his boss is in Abuja. Now, the last issue, the other issues, and I'm going to round up with this. Won't governors take the law into their own hands? Won't they become too powerful? We cannot overlook the fact that governors are almost like gods or emperors in their states already, without state police. So, of course, the fear is justified, right? If you now add a police force to the power they have already, won't they become too powerful? But like Mr. Fudge said earlier, there can be constitutional provisions, both at the federal and the state level, to curb the excesses of the governor in his use of state police. I mean, you can go around the world and you have examples. In the US, you have 16 law enforcement agencies. Among those 16, you have 3 levels of police. You have the county, you have the state, and you have the federal. They all know their place. Although occasionally they clash, they always fall in line when they see a superior. So there is no doubt that we need the state police. We need to do something about it fast so that the skirmishes we see in many of the hinterlands will reduce.
True.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much. You want to have a closing remark on that, Mr.
Fudge, yeah, a short one. I will not repeat everything that's been said. Absolutely in tune with Bosun, in tune with Alex. But my problem is recruitment. My problem is what type of policemen are we bringing into the situation? We need to think about that. We need to think about that. How well are they trained? Communication, skills, addressing the public, taking care of the people. I'm yet to see it happen. Recently, about a week ago, we saw online, I don't know if you saw this, where a policeman was assisting somebody to change the tires of his car on the road. And he was being hailed by so many people, and the man finished up the vehicle, the tires, and the man moved on, and he waved to each other, and he went away. I'm beginning to see that the police needs a lot more. We are not also thinking about the force, understanding how to control, reduce crime rates. We are also thinking about intelligence. The state police situation should be far ahead of the happenings. The gadgets must be in place, communication gadgets must be in place, but they must be taught in the strategies of intelligence to know. So it's the intake I'm worried about. It is the intake. If you can do it properly, because right now, so many people are looking for jobs. So many people can do anything to get to the police force because the year is lucrative. I don't know how far that's true, but you have to know the kind of people you are bringing in. To me, it's all about that, Fudge.
Thank you. Thank you all. I know the Inspector General, like every police person, will need re education and reorientation. What we have been practicing for over 60 years to change or the possibility of changing, it's not, I mean, it's not going to be easy. That's not normal.
Mhm.
But we can learn. We can learn to change. We can learn to improve for the betterment of our people. We know that there are not no system is perfect. There are even recruitment into this particular Nigerian police force is a skill. We'll need to polish different areas. The other day I was driving and the policeman stopped me and he said, "Oh, get back." The tone was I was very civil, but the
There you
tone
go.
was
Communication.
like I've offended him. I said,
Yeah.
the documents are okay, so I don't have any problem. He said, I should come down. Come on. I said,
Ah, you see?
oh God. I said, good morning, Oga. How are you? He said, how are you? The boys are here. I said, our boys are
Uh-huh.
here. He said, how far now? I said, so if you're going to
Where's
say
our kid?
our boys are here and how far, why are you shouting on me? He said, no, I just said you
Uh-huh.
should park. Is that shout? I said, your tone. You just said that you park. You come down. Come and do what at the back. The boot is open and all that. He said, but I don't fight you now. Why? I said, okay. I,
Uh-huh.
I know that he's not going to relent. He's still high on his authority and all that, you know. And then we left on a cordial note. But it was, how do you beg for something and you are forceful about it? And it's like you are entitled to it, you know.
Fudge,
So
their name is the Nigeria Police Force. Nigeria Police Force. You keep
everything is
forgetting that.
everything is by force.
You
In
keep
any case, so
forgetting.
if you're going to have if you're going to have state police, they're going to be serious with orientation. You know, when we started this country, when we started the pre-colonial days, the policing were localized. We have village
Yeah,
people, we have
very
different
true.
types of police. What's in the north, their
Very,
uniforms are
very
even
true.
different. They have different things, so it can
Very
be done.
true.
So like
Very
Alex said, you can't be in a federal
true.
environment and you have a unitary mindset.
Mm.
They have to take that out of. They're not like the army.
Yeah.
Army will be somewhere, usually out of the civil populace. That's how it is. But police is within the populace, and therefore they should be like us, though they are guiding us. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us, especially Bosu, for your late entrance and your copious contribution. Thank you so much, and enjoy your week. Yeah, we are moving on to the great. Our final take this month of April 2024. It's our way of reminding you about the great contributions of our musical legends. Dead or alive. Every other month, we'll play some of the finest available works of one of our greats. Today is the turn of one of Nigeria's rare talents, whose immense contributions were cut short by drug abuse and other unfortunate circumstances. Let it sink in the voice, the orchestration, the melody, and the message of Majek Fashek. You can hear the music. I'm playing Majek Fashek. I come from the ghetto.
Come from the ghetto. Yeah, come from the ghetto. Yeah.
Don't sing it out loud though.
No, I'm not
Let
trying
them hear.
to. I won't make an attempt. Oh,
Wow, what a voice! What a waste!
prison of conscience.
Yes, sir. I come from the ghetto. No more knows tomorrow. I
Yeah,
come from the ghetto.
very
We are
strong
not
lyrics.
I come from the ghetto.
Powerful lyrics. Very powerful.
I will the ghetto. That's it. Majek Fashek was born Majek Odumi Fasheke, fantastic
Mhm.
Nigerian reggae singer, master guitarist, and a wonderful producer. He passed away sadly on the 2nd of June 2020. He was only 57.
Mm. Mm.
His first album, Prisoner of Conscience, was 1989.
Mhm.
This is one of his pieces he made while he was on sojourn in the United States. Let me play you this lovely one. We'll try and squeeze in a few we can before we leave.
Mm.
I love this. Musicians, if you want your legacy to speak for you after you are long gone, speak sense, speak logic, speak it to the
Mm.
future of your people, speak
Mm.
on the side of your people.
Yeah. One of his other inspiring releases, Spudge,
Yeah.
was the track Holy Spirit.
Holy Spirit. Yes.
Yeah, that was impactful. Big
Oh,
one.
let me just give you that one now.
Holy Spirit. Oh, I have a friend, a colleague, is Muslim, and do you know he loves that track so much. He loves. He said it's quite. It works on him. That was the way he put it. And he's a Muslim.
Hmm.
Said that track works on me, Tokumbo. Play it, play it.
It's Holy Spirit by Majek Fashek.
Mhm. Thank you.
Yeah. Ew. Mama. Oh, God is saving all of you because I don't have voice. Eh? Hi.
God is saving us. What would I have done? You have a voice, man. It depends on the way you want to use it.
Is that it?
You
I know my problem.
you know your problem with the voice. Oh.
Majek was a member of Jazz Six in the early
Yeah,
80s
just take.
alongside,
Just take.
alongside Amos Micro Jag and Ras Kimono.
Just kimono. Just kimono. Mm.
Jazz Six had Majek Fashek, it was then called Rajesh Khanna.
Rajesh
Micro Jag,
Khanna.
Amos Micro, Sammy
Rajesh
Samama,
Khanna.
Ras Kimono, and George Orwell. And of course, Black Rice. He was grown, very old now.
Mhm.
No more. Oh, Amos Microjeg is now a pastor and he's still a producer. He's serving God now. He has left Rastafarianism and all his isms. Of course, Ras Kimono is late.
Yeah.
Mm.
By their seeds we shall
He
know them.
made this song. He made the next track right in. I think it was in the first album, Prisoner of Conscience, and it was a hit,
Mm-hmm.
all time hit forever. Of course, you know what I'm talking about. It's called "Send Down the Rain." This broke records, broke all kinds of records, and set him on as a phenomenal artist. undeniably talented and a lovely
Yeah.
composer and a great musician of note. Hmm. Misty and cloudy. Looks like the rain is gonna fall again.
And in those days, Fudge, it will rain.
And it
Anytime you
will.
play that song, the rains
It will.
come.
I don't
I
know how
don't
he
know.
did it.
I don't
You
know
know,
how that happened, honestly.
I watched about 2 or 3 times. One at even
Yeah.
Lucky Songs Club. And it rained. And
Came
is he
down.
using what? How is it? With the
Came down,
red
baby.
castle
And before
holding the
then,
bed.
there was sun everywhere. Oh.
Wow. And it will rain. Hey.
Yeah. So prophetic.
Rain, yes, yes. Rain. Send on the rain. One of my most profound track is the next one. It's called Religion, Now Politics.
Wow, love the song. Love the song, Fudge. That's a nice one.
Season and season. So you don't have
Mm,
to tell me why. Ask me why.
love the song. Religion or
Samba,
politics.
yeah, effect is so like a ripple, cassava, whatsoever, and I said, oh, I am little man, I've got all of got to put, send down the rain.
I think they described his piece like Palongo reggae or
Yeah,
something. I can't
yeah,
remember. Yeah,
yeah,
Palongo reggae. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Send down
Yeah, Palongo.
send down the rain. Now hear this. This is religion, now politics. The
Mm.
same rock like guitar sweeps is always consistent in his music.
The bass line to this particular piece is so great. Wonderful bass line. Really lovely bass line
Lovely,
running
lovely.
through it. Yeah, with different
And his horn,
variations.
and his horn section is something else.
Oh wow. Yeah. Good people should revisit these pieces, pay for the copyright, and then retouch them a little bit so they are unforgettable.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then this next one. Oh, it's my darling. So smooth. Yeah, let me put it up.
Mhm.
And fall asleep, so then they make you stare. Something them we said that you be proper. I'm gone people. One of his most attractive qualities is his voice. Very strong and very sweet. You know,
Mm.
they lift you. Okay,
They
let's
do.
take this. So long.
Ah, so long, too long.
So long,
So
too long. There
long,
are.
too long. Wow. Wow.
It's always good to
Ah,
use it to close your show. This is
yeah,
so we are coming to the end of
absolutely. It's a bye-bye song, right?
my time. And there's so much to.
Alex.
Sorry, Alex. I didn't know
Thank
you have
you.
to. I don't know what happened. We're
The
enjoying Magic
network.
Fashion.
Oh, it was a
Must.
network.
Oh, it's the network.
Did
Sorry
you
about
get
that.
the clip I sent to you on my
I
jet?
did. I watched it about 2 years ago. Yeah, I saw it. Thank
Jack.
you.
Okay.
And that same song is what I'm playing now. So long, too long.
So not too long.
We've been sitting down for so long. I ain't sitting down for too long. Oh God. Some of us cannot.
They really put something else.
We can't save our lives by singing. Too long. Essentially, I think Alex came back to say bye bye. So as we are going, we like you to say goodbye before network strikes again. Before network issues strikes again. Esife, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Wow.
Have you ever enjoyed? Have you ever listened to Majek Fashek?
Yes.
What's your impression of him? Let's ask from the Gen Z
He
opinion.
was a prophet.
He was a prophet.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, that's nice. That's true.
So, what do you say to close the show now?
He got sent down rain.
You want more rain? Yes.
What more?
Yeah, more
Oh
rain.
my
Oh,
God.
it's so hot. Oh, yes, want more rain. Okay, so your
Some
mind
areas
there.
don't want to hear that too. Dubai, don't send more rain in Dubai, for example, right?
Yes, yes, no more rain.
No worry, in Dubai.
Yeah.
They've had enough. Okay, Alex, you want to say your byes?
Yeah, in the spirit of Majek, let's work together and let's work hard to make Nigeria a better place.
Mhm,
I'll see you next week.
Point of
mhm.
correction. In the spirit of Majek's music and message, not not in the spirit of Majek.
Okay, okay.
I hope you understand.
Yeah,
Mm.
actually, I meant that anyway. That's what I meant.
Okay, Mr. T, your byes.
Well, it's so easy to be a Nigerian. I love this country very much. But please think about the country when you are selling your produce. Think about the people who buy them. Have a great week. See you next week. Bye.
Thank you, Mr. T. Always a pleasure to have you. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Esife. And Bosun Oshifora. Thank you so much. We'll be taking our leave. As we always say, be nice to people every day. Do not fake it. And help as best as you can afford. And do have a great weekend as you listen to this piece from the inimitable Majek Fashek. So long, too long. See you next week. By His grace. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, Fudge. Later. Yeah.
Thank you.
Alex, take care. Yeah. All right.